Welcome to the Connected Spirit Podcast, a space where the mystical and the human experience merge, where we explore what it really means to walk a spirit-led path. I'm Courtney Dawson, an ethical medium and mentor, and for as long as I can remember, I have felt the presence of the spirit world. But my journey hasn't been simple. It's been one of self-discovery, healing from religious and emotional trauma, navigating fear, judgment, and the loneliness that comes with embracing something the world doesn't always understand. This podcast is here to take what was once considered woo and bring it into the real lived experience of being human. Because mediumship isn't just something we do, it's who we are. Here we dive into the conversations no one else is having, breaking down misconceptions, exploring the unseen, and normalizing the journey of deep connection. We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle of being a medium. We'll laugh, we'll reflect, we'll go deep. And most importantly, we'll remember who we are, why we're here, and how spirit moves through us all. So if you've ever felt something more, if you've ever questioned the unseen, or if you're simply ready to embrace the fullness of your spiritual path, you're in the right place. If you have ever had an experience with spirit and then spent the next hour or the next day trying to convince yourself that was just a coincidence, I want you to stay with me. I remember the first time that I ever gave an actual spirit message. My girlfriend and I had went to a local spiritualist church, and we had gone to see a medium on the platform and give messages to people. It was incredible. It was amazing. It was my first time ever seeing a medium actually give live messages, and it blew my freaking mind. She was incredible. But what happened at that night was probably more incredible because I could have never foresaw that this was going to happen. So when my friend and I were going to that demonstration in mediumship, I became aware of a spirit. And I mean, not just had a sense, I was actually seeing this spirit person with my eyes wide open. And I tried to ignore him, I promise you, with all of my heart. But he just wasn't going away. He was insistent that I needed to give a message to two people that were there. And that was his daughter and his granddaughter. And I just could not do it. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, who am I to do this? I didn't have the language of what a psychic medium was or what giving a message was all about. Maybe you're in the same boat. It can feel really overwhelming, right? So, long story short, by the end of the night, he was still at me. He's like, you got to give a message. They came here to talk to me. And I said, okay, well, if they cross the road into that big parking lot there where my car is, I'll do it. Well, guess what, you guys, they did. And I was like, holy shit, what is happening here? And I said, no, only if they park their car beside me. Like, what are the odds, right? I kid you not. The woman, the mother, she had the same make and model of my PT Cruiser. It was a dark blue. And then she had the little remote start and the car went on. I was like, are you kidding me? So I had to do something. So I go to the lady and I said, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm having this experience and I need to share it with you. I have a gentleman here who tells me he is your dad. And then she had her daughter with her. And I said, and your grandfather. And he really would like me to give a message to you. Did you come here to hear from him tonight? She's like, yes. And she started to cry. I said, well, are you open to the message? She goes, absolutely. So I did ask for permission. Again, even though I didn't have any training, I still had ethics. So I went up to her and I said, okay, well, just give me a second and let's see what he has to say. So I started sharing what he looked like. Gave the physical description, clothing, the whole bit. Then I talked about how he passed to the spirit, and then I gave the message. And I kid you not, both of these women could accept all of the information, and they were crying, not tears of like being upset or, distraught, but they were like tears of joy and relief. Like, he's okay, he's still with them, the whole thing. And my friend who was with me at the time, her jaw hit her chest. She's like, what is going on here? Courtney, what? She had no idea that I had been sensing and seeing spirit my whole life because I kept it in the closet. But it was in that moment I knew the information that was coming through was so specific. There's no way I could have possibly known that at all. And then the fact that these women could take all of it, I knew that I was actually connecting to somebody who supposedly died, right? Meaning people think they're dead, but they're still talking. And I'm still getting the information and it's correct. And that really led me on this journey of I got to figure out what the heck is going on? Number one, how did that even happen? What does this mean? And how do I understand this all? I said, okay, Spirit, let's do this. And I did. And it was all accurate. Like I couldn't have made that up for the life of me. Not a chance. So I ended up going back to that spiritualist church. I started asking the questions. I started getting the training, taking the classes. And that is where everything started to make sense. But during that time, after that first night, I gave that first message, I did what most people do. We book it on to social media. We head on over to Google. We search the internet, right? And we start putting in our experiences. And then the internet gives us a bunch of information that sometimes is accurate, sometimes it causes more confusion. But yet, when I actually started sitting in a circle, I found out no, that's not intuitive. That's actually mediumistic. So, I want to share with you real signs that you may be experiencing from a spirit person that are going to let you know with certainty that you're actually connecting with a departed person. But beyond that, that you have the gift of mediumship. So let's get into that. When we are a medium, we receive information very similar to how psychics do. But you, as the medium, are receiving the information from people who are called discarnate, meaning they no longer have the body. And these individuals are going to share information with you through feelings, through inner knowings, through pictures. You might even hear sounds or voices. You might get these inner knowings that are so strong and you just don't know how you know, but you know that you know. You following me here? Okay. You might get physical sensations, the goosebumpies, the heart that races. Your palms start to get a little bit sweaty or clammy. Maybe you feel nervous. Maybe you feel really excitable for some reason. Maybe you get a sense that there's somebody there with you, and that somebody is a male or a female. And you start to get impressions that come out of nowhere. Maybe you have thoughts that come into your mind when you were already thinking about something, but that something was completely different. These can be signs that you are a medium. And what I'm going to say to you may be different than what you have ever heard before. Every single person has the ability to develop mediumship. Every single person has the ability to connect to not only their departed loved ones in the spirit, but also other people's departed loved ones. And you absolutely can learn how to do this consistently in using a repeatable format. And not everybody is born having an awareness of spirit. Not everybody knows that they're a medium. Not everybody sees spirit from the moment they come out of the womb. Some people may have an event in their life that acts as this awakening or this catalyst that really triggers their mediumship abilities to come to the surface, to be revealed and then developed and embraced. So even though you might not be aware of spirit since you were born, does not matter. I don't care if you've been aware of spirit from 2 years old or 80 years old. It doesn't matter when you become aware of the spirit world. It can happen at any time. That is the perfect time for you to start exploring your mediumship abilities. And it's really worth starting to pay attention to. So, what I would love for you to do is be really intentional about why you want to develop mediumship. I mean, social media is this crazy place. There's a lot of people out there that are so-called practicing mediumship, but they're not actually practicing it. A medium is somebody who is going to connect to somebody's loved one in the spirit and is going to bring through verifiable information that is clear, that is specific, that is accurate, and that is understood by the person they're reading for. And that person is going to be able to receive a level of healing from the information that the medium passes along. And what's required is that we, as the individuals who are wanting to pursue this path, take it for what it's worth. It is a journey of self-discovery. When you start developing your mediumship, you start letting them into your world. One of the first things that's going to happen is that you start to look at your life differently. You start looking at yourself differently. meaning, okay, I'm more than just this human. I'm more than just this physical body. There's a soul that actually animates my physical body. And when I die, that soul is still going to be able to come back, talk to my loved ones, is still going to be able to communicate, and still lives, right? Just having that awareness and that knowledge can be really, really impactful. And it can also shift the way that you view yourself and your lived experiences because there was more depth. There was more depth to it, right? And then you have to start looking at, well, why do I want to develop my mediumship? Do I want to learn more about myself? Do I want to be of service to the spirit? Do I want to be a voice for them and share their messages and share their love? Do I want to help bring healing to people who are still here in the physical so they know that they can't die for the life of them? Their physical body might expire, but their soul is going to continue to exist, right? I truly believe that mediumship is all about healing and bringing through messages that validate the soul continues to exist. It is not a novelty. Mediumship is really, really sacred. And yes, everybody can develop it, but I really want to encourage people to develop it for the right reasons. This is not something you do to become famous, grow a business, and get some kind of notoriety. At its core, it is a beautiful gift. And it is because of the generosity and the love of the spirit that mediums get to even do this work. Because without the spirit world, mediumship doesn't exist. You just go on, keep doing your intuitive stuff, and that's okay. That's wonderful and it's helpful and it's meaningful, but it doesn't work without spirit. Mediumship does not work without spirit. So when you are like, okay, I do want to be of service, I want to bring healing, I want to learn more about myself as a soul being having a human experience, those are all the right reasons to start developing your mediumship. And developing your mediumship requires you to have some level of formal training, meaning you're going to learn a repeatable pattern that allows you to prepare your energy in a proper way so you can connect to the spirit world intentionally, consistently, and bring through evidence that validates the soul continues to exist. And that training is super important because what it does is it removes any doubt, it removes any fear. It allows you to really trust that spirit is there to work with you to bring through their messages. They want to help you 150%, right? So you're not doing this alone. And also, what's really important is when you start developing your mediumship, you are surrounded by a community of like minded people. Because, honey, I know if you're listening to this episode, you have probably felt nervous or fearful or scared to share this with other people. I mean, I did. It was hard. And if you've been there, I want you to know it doesn't have to be hard. When you are surrounded by people that get it and understand it, it makes the journey so much easier and enjoyable. So, I would love for you after this episode to write down some experiences that you've had that maybe you have never told anybody, maybe that you have just tried to brush off as coincidence. And I want you to sit with that for a moment and go, was that really just my imagination? Was that really a coincidence? Or is that a possibility that I was actually getting a message from spirit? Was that dream just a dream? I would love for you to do that and just reflect on that because so many times we just discard what we're actually getting from spirit. And if you can look back and go, you know what? After listening to this episode, I think Courtney's actually touched on a few things that kind of resonate. And yeah, you know what? I've had some of those experiences. Then you know what, friend? The next step is for you to take that step and develop your mediumship. And I would love to invite you to my upcoming course. It's a 12-week live course, going to be held online via Zoom. And I'd love to mentor you for 12 weeks. And it's Summer with Spirit. We're going to work on your psychic abilities because I truly believe that we need to understand the psychic abilities so you can understand the mediumship. Super, super important. And that really helps clear any confusion about is the information genuine or not? And we get to have fun and play with different types of aspects of mediumship. And you get to do this with me, mentoring you every single step of the way. So if this feels like it's calling you, if this feels aligned, I'd love to support you. You can just head on over to the show notes and you can join there. And if you have any questions, you can absolutely send me an email or drop me a DM. I'd love to support you. And I just want you to know, if you are feeling the desire to be of service, if you know within your soul that this is part of why you were born, trust it. There are no coincidences. There are just possibilities that are waiting to be revealed and embraced. And I want you to know that spirit is supporting you every single step of the way, and so am I. The Connected Spirit isn't just a podcast, it's a remembering of who we are, a remembering of our connection to spirit, and a remembering that we are never walking this path alone. Mediumship isn't just about speaking with spirits. It's about deepening the connection to our own spirit, to one another, and to the energy that moves through everything. So as you leave this space, ask yourself, what part of this conversation stirred something within you? What connection is spirit inviting you to strengthen? If this episode spoke to you, please share it, leave a review, and connect with me on Instagram at Medium Courtney Dawson, or visit my website at mediumcourtneydawson.com. Your presence in this community matters, because connection isn't just about what we seek, it's what we are. Until next time, trust your spirit, trust the unseen world, and trust that you are always, always connected.